And we are live. We are live. Once again, we are live. For those of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in to week 13, I believe, the Power of Collaboration show. Tonight we have a special guest. His name is Mr. Rico Dawson, and he'll get into a little bit more of telling about his background, how long he's been in ministry, and everything like that. But once again, we thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy. Mr. Rico Dawson, welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank, thank you for the invite. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome, man. Our goal is really, for us as independent artists to kind of support each other. You know what I mean? So we thank you so much for accepting the invitation, and you reaching out to us. Like I said, we're just here to support any way we can, and hopefully, out of this conversation that we have, we can pretty much kind of strengthen each other. Like I said, encourage each other, motivate each other, and inspire each other. But most of all, God will get the glory out of what's being discussed tonight. So first of all, just tell us a bit about who Mr. Rico Dawson is.
I'm from Goldsboro, North Carolina, so I'm a native. Um, I'm a I'm a music educator also. I've been teaching. This will be my 20th year. Uh, I've been doing music since 19. It's gonna say my tell my age. I've been doing music since 19. I've been doing music since 1988. I was in the
Okay.
military. I was in the United States Army, and one of my good Army buddies, he was a music prodigy. He introduced me to music, and that opened up a side of me that allowed me to be expressive because by nature, I'm a quiet person. So that gave
Uh-huh.
me an avenue to that gave me an avenue to do some great things musically.
Okay, okay. Well, needless to say, you and I, we Goldsboro residents. Yeah. So I probably don't live too far from you. Don't live too far from you. I actually know. I believe some of your family. They go to the church that I go to, St. Joseph Rural Baptist Church. So I kind of know a little bit of your family. So what Catherine Best.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
related to her? Yeah, yeah, yeah. She actually sang in the choir. She has a nice soprano voice. So like I said, I actually know some of your family. And like I said, we don't live too far. Well, far as when it comes to music, how did you get into in the gospel music industry, starting from recording? What inspired you, motivate you to kind of write your own songs and pretty much put them out there?
Well, actually, if we have to go back. When I went to college after the military. Uh,
Okay.
I studied I studied music industry studies. That's what my degree is in. And I
Okay.
went to Elizabeth City State University. Had some wonderful professors. We had our own recording studio there and a pre-production lab. So we actually got uh, a hands-on opportunity, and my professors encouraged me to be creative because I started off as just being a vocalist, and they would encourage me to just write, but they was also my worst critics because if I wrote some things and I would let them see it, if it wasn't up to par, they would say you need to do that over. So it was
Hmm.
tough love, but they pulled the best out of me.
Yeah.
During that time at school, I was able to meet some fantastic, creative, phenomenal uh, uh, people in the music department, and they
Okay.
were it was healthy competition because you knew when you
Hmm.
went into the studio, you had to have your stuff. I was
Hmm.
blessed enough my senior year um, to be a part. One of my songs got chosen for the our compilation CD. We had R&B, jazz, hip hop on that CD. That was in 1995, and we were the only group. They have yet to do another compilation CD of that magnitude of talent. So from that point on, I graduated and I had an internship at an independent record company. So I
Okay.
was able to learn how to do everything. So
Okay.
that's where my journey started.
Okay. Now, I know you said you're a music teacher, so you play. How long you been playing? You went to school for that, or that was self-taught, or as far as
Well,
playing?
well, I originally my chief instrument was voice, but
Okay.
you have to play another instrument. So I picked up the piano because
Okay.
the other things like the woodwinds and the percussion, I could do percussion, but I felt more comfortable learning the piano. So that was the secondary instrument that I picked up.
Okay. Okay. So you went to school for that, or you self-taught?
I went to school for that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
That's good.
even in our degree, my degree was music industry studies, but everybody the first 2 years you had to take theory and sight singing and you had to pick up an instrument. So that was everybody in the music department, whether you were going to be in the music ed or production or performance, everybody did that.
Okay, cool. And we probably we're gonna be listening to I don't know if it's your latest song, but we're gonna be listening playing the video of one of your songs. So as far as your songs, that everything like far as instruments, that's you playing. You did everything, or you kind of have like a
Yeah,
band that kind of helps you when it comes to that.
I do everything.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'll get and pass it on to D Love. You got any questions for Mr. Dawson?
I do. I do. Mr. Dawson, welcome, welcome. So you just
Thank
said that
you.
you do everything. Tell us about that everything. We want to know about that
Well,
everything, Mr. Dawson.
I learned how to do everything by necessity because when I graduated, when I did my internship, and that abruptly ended
Uh-huh.
uh, in the middle of the internship, I moved back to North Carolina, and I ran into some people around here that had their own studios, and
Mhm.
I was just writing and doing my own thing. And I felt like when I went to the studio, I felt like the vision that I had for my music was never cast. So
Yeah.
I would always walk out of the studio like that's not what I heard in my head. So I took it upon
Ah,
myself to start to start learning myself because I didn't want to have somebody cast their vision on my music.
You're
So
right.
so I started learning everything, and fortunately enough, I met a brother by the name of Leander Tate, who has his own studio in the Greenville area, and he taught me
mhm.
everything, anything that I wanted to learn about production and engineering and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
He would be he would be like, "Yeah, come on, I got a session. I want you to come. You're gonna help me. You're gonna learn this." And I learned it. At first, I was scared
Uh-huh.
because when you behind the board and it's you controlling the knobs. I'm like, man, this is too much pressure. But
Yeah.
I decided in order for me to go and learn everything I needed to learn, I had to take on that challenge. So that's what I did. And I'm still learning. I'm forever learning.
That's
Yeah.
I'm a
right.
lifelong learner. I don't
Yeah.
ever want to when you feel like you've learned everything, then you wind up not knowing anything. So
Uh,
uh, I'm always learning. I'm always asking questions. Even when I do music and I finish the product, I let other people listen to it that I trust with the ear as far as is there something that I need to fix? Because I want excellence when the music goes out. So that's I just love to learn. I just love to learn. Sometimes it's hard, but hey, no struggle, no process.
Awesome. I'm glad you was able to get that, up under your belt. So you produced your own music.
Yes.
Okay, great. Great, great, great. So tell me about, I did read your bio and you have a history, sir. You do have a history, and I enjoyed reading your bio. You started out what in the army, doing music, whatever,
Yeah.
but I did read through it, and I saw where you you have a love for R&B music. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or has that changed?
Huh?
You have a love for
Say that
R&B
again.
music?
Yeah, I mean, well, the journey with my love affair of music actually started. If you want to, we can go all the way back to when I was younger. My mother and father, you know, in the Black community, family reunions and family get-togethers. I remember being at my grandmother's house, and
Yeah.
my brother and all my cousins, we were the entertainment. So, you
Right.
know, we would sing and dance and whatever for the adults. So that was really the introduction to that. So, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So tell us about the change. So you went from singing in different groups, singing some R&B music, but
Yeah.
you between what was it, 2000 and I think it was 2014 or 2016, you gave your
2000,
life to Christ.
2004. I was
2004.
actually, yes. Actually, I was one of my best friend, he was actually working on an R&B album, and I had helped him with his first album. So, you
Okay.
know, I collaborated with him a lot. Matter of fact, we were in the same group in college. We co-led songs, and we were writing
Okay.
partners, and we fit together. I mean, it was just awesome how we would just complete each other's parts of the song. And it's like he knew exactly what I was thinking, and it was
Uh-huh.
like we mixed very well. Um, and you know, I 2004, I just got tired. I got
Yeah.
tired of running, and I went. Matter of fact, that day, that Saturday, I went to his house. He had just bought a brand new house, just got
Mm-hmm.
married. Him and his wife were living in Wake Forest, North Carolina, and
Mm-hmm.
he was. I went to his house, and he was excited because he had made some contacts in the industry, and they were getting ready to do some big things. And he was like, "Yo, if I get this deal, you coming with me?" But he did not know that I had already made up my mind that when I go to church the next day, that I was going to go ahead and give it up. And
Yeah.
I did, and
Yeah.
I just got tired. I mean, and you know, one of the things that I wrestled with was the style of music that I did. And I remember
Uh-huh.
talking to God, and I said, God, the style of music I create, that's not gospel. And he checked me. He
Mm,
was like, I'm gonna use it. And he
Mm-hmm.
has. The only thing that has changed is the lyrics. So
Right.
I mean, you know, 2004 was the turning point, the pivot in my life, and it's just, you know, it's been very, very fulfilling. It's not been
Okay.
um it's not been great all the time, because when you change and turn your way, you turn towards the Lord, the enemy is not happy about that, because
Uh-huh.
as long as you deny Christ, you his. So once you
Mm-hmm.
mm,
say, I'm yours, Lord, I surrender everything, then the enemy is mad because he's lost one.
Yeah.
mm.
Okay. Awesome. You have a great testimony. I enjoyed reading your bio. But tell us, what is your biggest highlight, your biggest career highlight in the gospel era now?
Um, the last 3 years, I have been nominated. My good friend out in Texas,
Uh-huh.
Milton Wallace, he's an awesome man of God, and he you know, he has been helping me out as far as awards. I was nominated the last 3 years for the Texas Music Gospel Excellence Award.
Okay.
2020 and 2021, I probably got to like the second round, but last year I was a finalist,
Awesome.
and my wife and I, we actually traveled to Houston, Texas this past
Okay.
February.
Uh-huh.
Did
Mm,
not win, but I was in the room, and I was able to meet some people in the gospel industry that can really help me move forward, and I still keep in contact with. Matter of fact, Milton Wallace, uh, excuse me, when I was in Nashville this past May, I text him, and you know he's old. He's an older guy. He's old school. He's like, "Don't text me, call me." So when I text him,
Yeah.
when I text him, he said, and the phone started ringing, and it was him. And he said, and I didn't answer immediately. And then he sent a message. He said, "It's me. You need to call me." So I called him, and he said, "You know, I like talking to you. I'm that texting stuff. You know, I ain't really with that."
Yeah.
And I get it. But he's been very instrumental. The song that I have out now called Four Seasons. I sent it to him, and he was like, "Okay, where we going with this?" He said, "I see some things." He said, "Send me your information." And he started sending it to the radio stations that he was connected to out in the California, Louisiana, Texas area. And he's been instrumental, as well as my man, Brother Reggie, from Rejoice America. He has been instrumental in helping me in this area as far as playing my music. And those two guys have been they've been very welcoming, and anything I needed as far as, you know, information, they were gracious enough to share with me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. I think you have a great sound. It is different. I did get a chance to listen to quite a bit of your music. I try to listen to all the artists that come on the show. I listen to their music. And what would you say your genre of music is?
Well, I think it's still got R&B flavor, but I would say it'll be R&G, like rhythm and gospel. But I'm basically led. I'm basically led by what God, you know, give me, because like this new project that's coming out, it's got a little bit of everything. It's different, but that's what God gave me. So I'm gonna do it just like He gave it to me.
Awesome. All right, take it on, Ted.
Where will that B next go? B next, you got quite questions for the Mr. Rico Dawson.
D-Love asked all my questions.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good.
Did I get out?
It says here in 2006, you wrote and produced a debut contemporary album. Was that contemporary like R&B, or was that gospel, or what?
Say that one more time. Repeat the question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I said in 2006, you said that you wrote a contemporary album. Was that contemporary like R&B? Was that gospel, or what?
That was my first gospel album. But you know, we had not, you know, the industry had not transitioned into like the digital age yet. So everything was like, you know, CDs and stuff like that. That CDs was still what's going on. And even I was still learning about the process, because I had never had to do everything all the way. You know, I always had somebody, you know, if I'm writing something, that was the last I saw of it. I didn't follow the trail. So I didn't understand the process much, what it entailed, what it took. So during that time, you know, you had to have everything, your ducks in a row financially, and I didn't understand that. And that was a lesson learned by me.
So, I mean, you transferred from R&B to gospel, and you said God told you to do that. Why didn't He give you the path to make the money to put out the album?
Well, like I said, I didn't understand the whole process as it relates, because I was a writer and a vocalist, and I didn't understand what went on after that. So when you're doing that project, and I'm learning this now, fortunately for us now, it is the digital age where you don't, you know, people are transitioning away from CDs, and everything is going digital, so you can create and do what you need to do, and it don't take you a whole lot. It ain't gonna break your pockets if you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like, I guess my question is like, you abandon one thing because you said, "Hey, you know, God, I'm not really, I don't know what this music is that I'm doing." And he said, "Hey, you're doing the wrong thing. You need to do music for me, right?" So why, when he told you that,
Right.
he did not provide you with the course for you to be able to execute what he wanted and also financially be able to put it out? Why do you think that is?
Well, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. It wasn't God. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have my stuff in a row as far as business.
But when he provides you with the knowledge,
True.
because like, I mean, the whole thing is like, if he puts you in a direction, then he's going to point you in a direction of gaining the knowledge that you need, right? In order to execute
Right.
what you need to do for him. Therefore, you can get the financial backing that you need because he's going to give you that path to walk down. So and what I'm understanding is that you deviated from the path. That's what happened.
Yes.
Okay. So where's this album out now? Like, where's it at now? Because it seems like you just abandoned the album. It was called It's Time. And then you went on to write for other people, gospel songs. So where's that album? I mean, do we get to hear that album, or you just put it away?
As a matter of fact, the first two, this album and the next album is coming out, those songs have been reintroduced. So they're on, some of the songs are on the album.
Okay. Okay. How many of those songs from that album made it to this new album? And did you rewrite them? Did you do any kind of adjustments, or are they as they were in 2006?
No, I refreshed everything.
Okay, so they're different songs now. They just have the same title.
No, the lyrics are the same.
Oh, the lyrics
Just,
are okay. So it's a different groove, maybe, because you just
right.
redid the music. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
correct.
That's what's up. So all these other people that you did music for, and you know, while you were transitioning and becoming more in tune with what God wanted you to do, who are those artists? Like, who are those people like that you work with? You know, that you collaborated with during that time?
Well, one in particular, I went to college with him. He did a gospel album. Well, I worked on his R&B album, the last one he did before he gave his life to Christ. And he's my best friend, and I've worked with him. His name is Richard Ash. Matter of fact, he has some stuff out now. And then that's probably the only one I've been working with. I wrote some lyrics for a jazz piece, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. A band leader out of Buffalo, New York, saw my information on LinkedIn, and he said, I heard you can write. I listened to some of your stuff, and I'm really intrigued by your writing style. Can you write something for me, a jazz piece? So he sent me the recording of the jazz piece, and I wrote the lyrics for it.
So, but that's kind of like that kind of, because when I read your bio, it said that you gave yourself to God to write for Him, but now you wrote R&B and you did jazz.
Mm-hmm.
So you deviated from your path again.
Right.
No? So what's going on? Talk to me, Rico. What you doing?
I'm still with God. I'm still with God.
Okay. I mean, you get in and out though, because I mean, you can't take projects writing jazz and R&B if you said I'm just going to be writing, you know, for my God, right? All your stuff should be directed towards that message that you want to give out. And another thing I wanted to ask you is, as far as your lyrics, when you write, I used to listen to gospel. I don't really listen to it that much anymore. But a lot of them, a lot of people spoke a lot about, everything was about like God being anointing and all this other stuff, right? Like this is a lot of the lyrics are like that. And I did listen to some of your stuff, and this because when D Love asked you about your style, I was like, this is not what I consider to be gospel. It has like a whole different vibe. And you said it's R&G. And I was like, okay, he has his own genre now, you know what I'm saying? Which is dope. You know what I'm saying? It's really dope. But like, what would you say lyrically you're trying to convey when you put out your lyrics, like as far as like your message that you want to give to people that God is telling you to give?
I want to encourage and inspire people. And I pray that my walk, what they see and what they hear, it points them to God.
So it says you're a choir director at a middle school?
Yes.
On your bio? Okay. So is it a gospel choir?
No, this for the school. It's a school system. I work in the school system.
So you're still doing music that's not what you said your path was. You deviated again. You should be a choir director because you're doing music for a high school, which I'm pretty sure is not like a Baptist school, like, you know, what do they call those schools? The Christian school, I can't remember the name of Catholic school or something like that, where the choir will be singing.
It's a public school,
right? So they not singing, they're not doing gospel in there. You got them singing gospel in the choir?
Well, I have some songs that are inspired. All my songs are inspiring songs that the students will be singing that I teach.
Inspiring, like how? Like how they're inspiring? Like, give me an example.
It's words of encouragement. You're trying to encourage people. Like one of the songs they did, well, my sixth graders did, was "Heal the World."
Okay.
That's
to you, that's a godly message.
What, heal the world?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Okay. So you can do songs without it having anything like as far as like the word of God in it, and it still be a gospel song.
If I'm teaching it, if I'm doing it myself.
In general, because you said "Heal the World" is a godly message.
Well, when you're in the public school system, there's certain things that you can't.
No,
you got to be careful.
What I'm saying, I understand that. What I'm saying is that you're still teaching. From your bio, you said you're devoted your musical skills to God, right? Right now, right. You've mentioned that you deviated at least twice. You did an R&B song and you did some jazz. Now you're teaching as a choir director in a public school. I mean, I know you got to make your money. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, as far as your message, your devotion to your God, it seems like you deviated. But you did say that "Heal the World" is a godly song. Therefore, you don't need to have God in gospel. I mean, you don't have to have God, the word of God, in a song to make it gospel. It just has to be a positive message.
Yeah, well, there's some songs out there like that.
Before I gave my life to the Lord, I was a teacher.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm just trying to ask if you are still on your same journey as you mentioned in your bio. You know what I'm saying? Because you dropped R&B, and what I'm trying to get around to is that you dropped R&B to do gospel, but you haven't been completely committed to gospel. But yet you say that saying a positive message in a song is gospel. So therefore, you didn't have to stop doing R&B. You just needed to make positive messages. That's what I'm understanding.
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to grill you. I'm just going by what your bio is. I don't want you to go off the beaten path again so you can get that money to put out your next album. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened in 2006. You wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep you focused. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We have to look out for each other. I'm trying to look out for you, keep you focused. Keep you focused on your mission, because we don't want another It's Time album to be sitting on the shelf. We need to hear that.
Okay.
That's all. All right, man, I'm done.
Okay. Well, ultimately, this show is about encouraging, inspiring, and motivating. So, and we're going to continue to head towards that way. Sometimes there's discussions that come up that may be uncomfortable, but the ultimate goal is to really just to strengthen each other. So, that's the ultimate goal. So, Mr. Dawson, so far as you got any upcoming projects that's coming down the pipe? I know you said you're working on an album. How many songs you got coming on the album?
What?
How many songs you got coming
up? I'm working on my second album.
Okay.
It's gonna be about 10.
Okay. And they're all produced by
you? Yeah, I'm in post-production, excuse me, now.
Okay.
So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, it'll be ready to go.
I hear you. So how long did it take you to do 10 songs, man?
Well, actually, I actually started working on the music last year.
Okay.
Because I know my schedule and I know my obligations. I know how it is. So I started working on the music last summer. So,
okay.
Because being a teacher, you have summer break. So I got to it, man.
Okay. So did you, I know you said you're working on it last summer. Did you find yourself kind of rearranging some of them? Because sometimes when we listen to stuff and we create it like prior years and we come back to, kind of listen to it, we hear something different. Did you find yourself kind of recreating some of it?
Yeah, and that's one of my issues with myself is I get too over analytical, and I'm like, no, I got to do that. That don't sound right. I got to do something different, and that slows down the process. But that's just how I am.
You gotta follow. You gotta follow your ear. You know what I'm saying? Like if it don't feel good, then you got to make sure that whatever you put out feels good to you. You know what I mean? So I think everybody, I do that myself. I think everybody.
Yeah, we all do that. Yeah. I know I do. I can speak for myself. I do that. Yeah. So, did you do this at the far as you did it at the same studio as far as the music, and what studio did you record it? And also, what is your process like when you're preparing yourself to go into the studio? Do you have any rituals, anything that you do? Any type of preparation that you do before you actually go into the studio to record vocals or even lay the music?
Well, I actually I have a home studio, so that's good. Yeah, that's good for me. So when I do have an idea, I don't have to book time. I can just go into my sanctuary and get to work. As far as my process, sometimes I could be around the piano just playing, chords and melodies and something will hit me and I'll just start moving. And then other times I just write. So it all depends. And I don't have any no rituals. It's just whatever the flow is.
Right. When I say rituals, I mean nothing like I mean like far as getting a full 8 hours of sleep, that type of stuff. Nothing like that's off the wall. Like I said, just getting 8 hours of sleep or even just meditating before you go. Things like that. Not anything that's kind of off
yeah.
the
Well,
wall,
you know, before I go in and I know I'm gonna be in there for a while, I just like to be, you know, just to read the word and just be in a prayerful spirit and just be listening for God, what he's gonna say. Because, you know, when I did my first album, I had actually finished that in 2019. So I
Okay.
thought. And then God was like, nope, take that song out, take that song out, take that song out. And I wrote 3 new songs, and I didn't understand why. And I
Okay.
was frustrated because I had just did a radio interview or podcast, and the guy
Okay.
asked me, he said, when is the album coming out? I said, well, it should be out the first of the year. He said, okay, we're looking forward to it. And then the pandemic happened, and stuff like that, and you know, everything shut down. And the first song that I wrote was supposed to be, and I didn't understand. And I was like, why, God, why you got me writing this song? But this song was talking about, and right after that, Ahmaud Arbery, the video came up about him, you know, being killed, and then George Floyd in between that. And then I understood why he wanted that. And then I wrote So Good, and that was just talking about how good God has been to me, even when I haven't been good to myself. And Rescue Me was that talked about we as believers, we always, you know, when on this journey, we think we got it all together, and we start making bad decisions, and we look up and we in a compromising situation, and we looking to God to get us out of this mess. So I wrote those 3 songs, and that pushed everything back because even, you know, the pandemic just shut everything down. It was just slow. So, you know, it was different, but it worked out good though.
Okay. So how long you actually been recording in your own studio, and what software you use and stuff like that? The only reason I'm asking because I got my own home studio too and stuff like that, and sometimes I just like to ask questions about, you know, what type of software and things you use. What type of software you use, and how long you've been, and was it difficult when you first got your software to kind of learn and stuff like that?
Yeah, I use the Cakewalk Sonar Producer 8.
Okay.
But I also have Pro Tools. And when I first started, because I didn't know, I was learning. It was really difficult, but I was determined that I was going to learn because, like I said, I didn't want anybody else to have control of the vision. I never forget the thing that really put me over to really start learning about production. This guy I had met, he was always inviting me over to the studio, but every time I went over there, he had something to do. So I was getting frustrated, and the straw that broke the camel's back, I went over there, and he called me like, yo, come over, you know, come through and we can, you know, do some work. I was like, cool. So when I go over there, he's pulling out of his yard. And I'm like, yeah, where you going?
Really?
He said, I got something to do.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And I was like, no, we're not doing this no more. So I went and got what I needed to get started. And I went from there, man. And, you know, trial and error, learning, remembering some of the stuff that I learned in school. Because like I said, in your degree field, my degree field, you still had to learn everything about music, even the studio. So I just went back to remembering what I learned. My professor was Mr. McGee. He did the engineering side, and he wasn't no joke, man. If you didn't know what you were doing or you were messing around in there, he tightened you up. He's like, you're not doing that right.
You took me back with Cakewalk. That's actually the very first program that I learned with digital music. Actually, no, it isn't. It was I think it was called Symphony or so. It was a way back in the days. It was a program where you had to put in the notes on it, like on a staff, on a, you know what I mean? On the, and it would play them out, and it allowed you to do all these different ones. But then after that, I started using Cakewalk. Was my very first one, Cakewalk, and I don't think it got up to Sonar because I think they went out of business for a while, and a company a company bought them, and now I think Cakewalk is free now. Like you can download it for free.
BandLab bought it.
BandLab,
because Roland discontinued the version because they got up to before they discontinued it, they got up to Sonar Platinum, and it was almost similar to the bells and whistles of Pro Tools, and that was that was it. And then after they produced that, they Roland stopped it, and they BandLab bought it, and then they made it free. So that was the last. That was the last software.
Yeah, I have like hundreds of songs. Maybe it could be thousands. I don't know. I did all of my music back then in Cakewalk, so I have a lot of Cakewalk files that I'm trying to convert over. Whenever I get time to like Cubase, because I have no passion to use Cakewalk anymore, even though it's a dope program. I think Cakewalk is dope. Like a lot of people, if they don't know that it's free and they think just because it's free, it's a bullshit program, it really isn't.
No, it's not.
It's a very powerful program. So, and it's for free. People, if you can't really afford to get like Pro Tools or all those other ones, Cakewalk is a really great option. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a full blown DAW.
Version,
like everything, But I'm a Cubase user these days. I think Ted, you use Studio One.
Yes, sir. I use Studio. I use Studio One.
Studio One is they doing some stuff with Studio One. I saw
they
some.
Stepping up. Yeah, they stepping up
with their new features and whatnot. But that took me back. Cakewalk.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dawson, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get and play your video, the one that you sent me. You want to get in introduced that video and just give us a little bit of backdrop about it, the song.
The song, the video is so good. That was off my first album. It just talked about how it's a transparent walk to Christ for me, because the first verse says, "I try to do it myself with nobody, with no one else. I soon realized I was on my own, but I received a brand new start the day I gave you my heart. I don't regret it because you changed my life." So it's just a transparent walk to him.
Okay, so no further ado, we're going to go into Mr. Rico Dawson's video here.
You changed my life. Lord, I love you. You've been so good to me. There's no one above you. Salvation has set me free. Lord, I love you. You've been so good to me. There's no one above you. Salvation has set me free. I know I profess to be yours, and I would proclaim your word. But early on, I missed the mark. But you never left my side. In you I can confide. You shaped and molded me. I'm forever thankful. Lord, I love you. You've been so good to me. There's no one above you. Salvation has set me free. Lord, I love you. You've been so good to me. There's no one above you. Salvation has set me free. I gotta say, I gotta say, Lord, I love you. You've been so good to me. There's no one above you. Salvation has set me free. Lord, I love you. You've been so good. You've been so good to me. Yeah. There's no one above you. There's no one above you. Salvation has set me free. Lord, I love you. You've been so good. Sacrifice your life for me. There's no one above you. Salvation has set. So I'll be ready to turn your lead. Lord, I love you. You've been so good. You've been so good to me. There's no one above you. Salvation has set. Salvation has set me free.
We need an encore.
Amen.
More of that. That was nice.
Man. Brother, let me stop this. What's going on?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice song. So I have a sister Izzy. She's an artist herself, and she's a radio host. So she actually said here, nice track, and I told her that I would tell you that, and she said, nice track, nice track. So she wanted to let you know that she said that. So what was that process like? I mean, even actually doing the video, what was that process like? How long did it take? Was it a 1 day shoot, 2 day shoot, and did you have to go
Video,
on
man, the video process is hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 1 day shoot, but it was like we started at probably 9 a.m. and
Okay.
it was like different angles. Because I'm thinking, okay, I sung that song about, oh my God, I can't even remember. It was over 30 times. But they were doing it from different angles. Like you would go through the song, you'd be like, okay, I'm done. I know this is good. Okay, yeah, that's good, but this ain't. It's like you got to sing the song again. Okay. So I mean, that process, I learned a lot. One thing I learned is you have to be patient, because we get used to seeing the end result of a music video, but we really don't think about what it entails, the process, the preparation. We don't think about it until you're actually in it, and then you realize, oh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So who actually did the storyline for you, as far as the different shots and the locations? Who came up with those different ideas?
We came up with the ideas as far as the locations, but the videographer Lauren Brandt, she her and her brother, they put the concept, they brought it to life.
Okay.
They were just it was great to work with them. You know, when you're in when you do stuff in the industry, sometimes you work with people, they can be difficult, but
Mhm.
they were very inviting, and they were very they you know, some people can be overbearing with their ideas, and they can say, well, we need to do it, you need to do it like this, and they'll just make
Mhm.
a suggestion. What you think about this? So it
Right.
was a collaborative effort as far as the casting the vision. So it was great working with them.
Okay. Okay. Now, is this your first one, or you have others you did?
No, that was my first video. I'm
This your first
on
one?
the
Your first
second
one?
album. I don't know which one I'm gonna do. Uh, what a video I'm gonna do for one of the songs. I don't know yet. I'm
Okay.
just trying to take one thing at a time, make sure the album is done, it's right, it's ready, and then from that point on, then we'll make a decision as far as the music video.
Okay. So being that this is your first one, how was that feeling like that? Hey, listen, I know as far as when it comes to music and songs and stuff like that, I got a bunch of those done. But when it comes to doing your first music video, how did that make you feel as far as just accomplishing that? How did it make you feel?
It made me feel good, man, because I can remember, and I'm just going back to the moment the first time I heard one of my songs on the radio. Uh,
Hmm.
I co-wrote a song called "A Lonely Night" when I was in college, and at a college radio station, if you know the DJs, because a lot of the DJs at the college radio stations are students, so you take classes
Yeah.
with them. So if you get to know them, that's like my guy, I think his name was Timikai. He was doing the Quiet Storm at the time, and I was like, "Yo, we got
Hmm.
this song. Listen to it when you working that night, man. Could you put it on? Just show us some love." And he was like, "Yeah, good." So he put it on
Hmm.
just to hear that. It was like, wow. So it was a wow moment. Same thing with the
Hmm.
video. Uh, just seeing the finished product, it was I felt really good about it. It was a great accomplishment because, I know the behind the scenes and the hard work that went in the process of casting the vision of
Hmm.
the video.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, D Love?
Yep.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Dawson, I enjoyed your video. Is that the only video you have out?
Right now, yes,
The only video. Okay. So tell
yes.
me, where do you draw your inspiration from your lyrics?
Well, I mean, God. I mean, he gives me the inspiration to do. I mean, he'll share with me, you know, I get in a quiet place and just be still and just
Mm-hmm.
receive. Especially
Yeah.
when I'm in the studio, I just get that inspiration, and he'll guide me through that. That's where I get it from. I get the inspiration from him.
Okay. I understand that, but what I'm trying to ask you is there's many other singers, not to compare you to anybody else, but there are singers that do certain things to draw inspiration, you know, to their writing skills because of the simple fact
Mhm.
that sometimes so many things you could be going through in life or whatever, and you'll have that writer's block or anything that will come into your life that will cause you to put the pen down or don't want to create any more music or this and that other. Where do you draw inspiration from? I mean, is there anything
Um,
that you
I'm glad.
do?
That's a great question. The reason why I say it's a great question because I know everybody who is a creative mind has been through the writer's block situation. I've been through that as well.
Uh-huh.
Just I mean, being in the education, being an educator, I mean, I draw inspiration from my students, things I see in the community, you know, I just draw it from it. And
Awesome.
I go from there.
Okay. All right. So you have 10 songs that you have written for the new project that you have coming out now. Which song is your
That is
favorite
correct.
song?
Woo. Um, I,
Mhm.
Wow. I was before coming on, I was
Uh-huh.
listening to, you know, 2 or 3 of them. One of my songs that I really like is called Negative Energy. And it's
Mm,
basically talking about if you want to hear from God, you got to cut out all the voices. Um, you know, TV, social media, because people are drawn to social media now, even believers. And we have to be very careful. We get drawn into that. So I think that song, and then I have a song called This is the Story. And that's just another transparent walk. Just sharing my journey to God.
Yeah.
The first verse says, For years I turned away from your mercy and your grace. You wanted me to come home, but I would
Mm-hmm.
always say, not today, not today, never
Yeah.
realizing I needed you in my life.
Okay. Okay. So the video showed that you are a musician. So tell me, what is the best thing about being a musician, and what is the worst thing about being a musician?
I think the best thing for me, as far as being like when I'm in the studio processing, because I
Uh-huh.
have a formal background, it speeds up the process of production. Because if
Okay.
you play and you don't read, you play by ear, but if you don't know how to read music, it you know it for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, it speeds up my process because I can hear it. And if I look at a piece of sheet music, I can connect the dots. And
mm,
like B Nick said, when you're in the studio, if you have that information, especially when you're dealing with these softwares, Cakewalk and Pro Tools and
mm,
stuff, you can actually
Mm-hmm.
they have a view, uh, and I use it, from time to time. If I want to fix some stuff or rearrange some stuff, you can go into the MIDI file and you can go ahead and you can change the note. And by me
Okay.
understanding how to read music, it's easier to do. So it speeds up the
mm,
process of production. And
Okay.
if you're working with somebody else, then if you collaborate with somebody and they may not have the musical aptitude that you do, you can help them along the process, and it keeps everything moving along.
Okay. Awesome. So what is the tell me this. What is the difference between someone that has been taught music and someone that has been anointed to do music?
Oh, somebody that's anointed, they are in tune spiritually with the flow. Because
mm,
the person that plays, they may not have the anointing. So if, say
Right.
for example, they minister music at the church, right? And your
Uh-huh.
minister of music has to be in tune with God. They may mess up the flow of worship if they're just saying, "Well, I just got to play." You got to be in tune with what God
Yeah.
needs at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, come on, let's be honest. We've been places. I know I have been places, other churches, and and it's not the older musicians. A lot of times, it's the younger musicians that really. It's like they're trying to show their chops off, and they're not listening to God, because God is not telling you to play that song right now because you're messing up worship. So
Yeah.
that's the difference between being a player and being anointed to do that.
Okay. Awesome. Great, great, great. So that's all the questions that I have so far. Anybody else?
mm. B next, you got any questions?
No, no questions for me. Like D, I don't know, D Love, you must be in my head. You keep asking all of the questions that I want to ask.
All right, so we
That's
gotta
good.
actually,
We in tune.
yeah,
Nah, but I
so,
don't have any questions for you, man.
okay,
I
we
appreciate
gotta probably not even a minute left. But what I'm gonna do is what we try to do here, what we're gonna start doing here on the Power Collaboration. So any information that I get or D Love get, one of our goals is to really, when information for us, any radio stations that are accepting submissions for music, we're going to try to put it on the Power Collaboration Show. So we actually have 2 right now that we would like to share. And if you could, I'll put it up here. Actually, let me do it right now while I'm talking. Yeah. And one of them is actually Barbara Cox. So if you're an indie artist and you're listening right now, you're tuning in right now, you see the information going across the screen there. She's going to be she's relaunching her record label. She's relaunching her radio station coming October 1st. So her email address is there. You can write this down, Rico, too, for yourself. If you want to submit, like I said, you're working on a new album. So if you want to submit some music to her, and actually, let me see here, see if I'm trying to pull up her. Well, actually, you can write that information down. So like I said, she's actually accepting music, and then also I'll get in put up another one that we have here, and her name is Christina Lockett. She's also accepting the new music. I'm going to put her information up here also. And I believe she already started her radio station. So it's going across the screen right now, should be going across the screen right now. And this is the email address for her name is Christina Lockett. So you could pretty much send her an email. So you see the email address going across the screen there. So if you're an indie artist and you're pretty much watching us, like I said, we got this information going across the screen here, so you can write this down. She's accepting new music. She's a great radio host. I actually been on her show, so she's very, very supportive. And just know that before we even get this information, we ask them first. We ask each radio host if it's okay that we can share their information, and they say they allow us to do it. So like I said, anytime we're sharing, I'm going to get the okay to share that information before I even share it. So like I said, what we're sharing right now, and hopefully the goal is to get others, and actually we do have others lined up, and we'll probably be sharing those on the next show. So like I said, for the indie artist who's been on the show, we want to encourage you. Don't abandon us. You come on the show, don't abandon us, come back. Like I said, it's called the Power of Collaboration for a reason. We don't just want to interview you and and just ask you questions. We want to try to be supportive as possible. So like I said, D-Love and I, we're going to reach out, and to radio hosts and just kind of share this information for you. So, and also if you want to be on a Power Collaboration, so I'm going to have it going across the screen here also. You can just look at that information going across the screen for us being on a Power Collaboration show. So we'll get and let that go across the screen. But Rico, just probably like 2 more questions. I know we're kind of past the time frame right now. But kind of share what, if you have an inspiring message or encouraging message for any indie artist, what would be that message for them? And also, it's a 2-part question. What would you like to see for us as indie artists that we can do better when it comes to collaborating, just on a whole, for us when it comes to, especially as this indie artist, sometimes it's challenging for us in this industry. So 2-part question, well, not 2-part question, just kind of share inspiring words, and also what would you like to see different that we can do for us as indie artists?
Well, the first part of the question, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first part of the question is, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And a lot of times people want stuff to come together right now. Mm-hmm. And this process is not like that, especially as an independent artist. Mm-hmm. So it's just be encouraged and continue on the path. And I just think about one thing that my pastor said: we can do it better together. As far as independent artists, because we don't have the machine backing us. It's strength in numbers, so we have to look out for each other. Yeah, we don't have the machine. Right. You call the music industry. When you're at a major label, the only thing that you got to worry about is creating that product. You turn it over to the president of A&R. They do a listening session, and if it's good, they like it, then they move it on. And you don't. Then your next step is doing promotional. You don't see that. You don't have to call the radio stations. You don't have to do the networking.
Right.
They're doing the networking for you. So we can do it better together because, we might not know everything, but somebody that does. And if we're working together collaboratively to level the playing field for the independent artists, it makes it better for everybody. So we just work together.
Okay. So so I guess did that tie into the answer to the second question, as far as pretty much just kind of working together, collaborating more. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. D-Love, you got any last minute inspirations? Anything you want to encourage the listeners with?
I just wanted to mention that Stacy Perrier, he is also another radio podcast partner with the Power of Collaboration. He also is accepting the indie artists that we interview as well. So if you see the post, Mr. Dawson on social media, whatever, his information would be in some of the posts. So you can also reach out to him and he will accept your music, play you, as well as give you an interview on his podcast. So it's called Spit to the Beat Podcast. So just look for the post on our Facebook posting. Wherever you see us posting, you will see it.
Yeah. And I actually be sharing these two that we shared today also. Like I said, we're going to get that. B-Nex, any last minute inspirations, words of encouragement, motivation you want to say to those who are tuning in?
I would just tell people to create without limits. Just keep creating without limits. That's all I have.
All right. Well, Mr. Rico Dawson, sir, thank you so much for being on the show. We truly appreciate it. Actually, we probably going to be doing this again somewhere down the road, because one of the goals is, and actually Sister Izzy, she's tuning in right now, she's a radio host, and she kind of accepted the role. Well, I ain't gonna say role. I extended an invitation to her. What we want to do is the past guest who's been on the Power Collaboration show, being that she's an indie artist, want to do like a panel. Do like a panel and have her be like the guest radio host, and where we can pretty much ask her some questions, and even amongst each other, just kind of share ideas and suggestions amongst each other. So it's probably going to be like a 2-part panel, because I think with StreamYard you can only do like 10 people at a time. So we're probably going to be like I said, might be a 2-part or 3-part panel, but we will be inviting you back. And also the goal is hopefully we can get those who are part of the platform pretty much just to kind of download each other's music, just another way to kind of support each other. So like I said, we'll make sure it's kind of structured when we invite those artists back, that that I ain't gonna say it's a criteria, but we would like to be supportive kind of to each other, just kind of downloading each other's music, because some people never had their music downloaded, and sometimes that can be a motivation or an inspiration. So like I said, we're just trying to kind of do different things, man, just to kind of support each other. So be on the lookout for that. And also for those of you who tune in, thank you so much for tuning in to the Power of Collaborations. We appreciate you so much. And God bless, and have a good night. Peace. Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Appreciate you, sir.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.